Hello, bestie. It's Coco, your divine oracle. How are you? I hope you're doing so well. Mwah, kisses for you. Mwah. It's late when I'm recording this, but I feel so called to share this message with you. Let's call in the angels, the deities of the light, and all that calls us to our higher good. Okay. I shouldn't read it too hard. It's kind of late here. But I'm also going to be channeling my deities so I can deliver this message as accurately as I can for the collective watching this. All right. Let's jump right in. Ooh. I feel like I'm looking a little cuckoo bananas because I am a little cuckoo bananas. Doing a lot of readings and a lot of channeling tonight, but I just feel so called to right now. It's been a little bit of a lull on the channel for readings. I'm going to pull in. Let's wake up these birds. This is my bird oracle deck. Ooh. No, yeah, we gotta cut the deck, and let's call in 3 messages from the birds that the collective needs to hear. The ostrich. This speaks of being grounded, but also understanding your own majesty. Ostriches, at one point flew, and after years of evolution, they now run through the savannah, thundering through. But if you know anything about costumes and fashion, you know ostrich feathers are a pretty penny. They're like the Rolls Royce of feathers. Ostrich over, chicken feathers, girl, ostrich, you're gonna pay a pretty penny for that. Even though the ostrich is grounded, they are swathed in beautiful feathers, and they know and understand their own magnificence and their value. The way ostriches do their little dances when they're mating and all that stuff, there's a majesty, there's a grace, there is a reverence to them. And when the ostrich is stomping into your life, ostrich is reminding you to remember how valuable you truly are. We're getting the energy of the barn owl, and the barn owl is like a soundless bird. This owl, in this deck, she represents love. When barn owl swoops into your life, it is letting you know that love is approaching you soundlessly. Her face is encased by a little heart. Look at her, little cutie. And barn owls fly silently through the night, and that's how they're able to really catch their prey. But they have immaculate hearing. They're little ears on their side, but they don't have ears. They're just little ear holes, like most birds. But this card, when it approaches, lets you know that there is love approaching you, and it's meant to be unexpected. With that being said, it could be romantic love, but also could be love in other forms, unexpectedly finding their way to you. And we're getting the energy of the pheasant. The pheasant has lived in so many continents and over so many centuries with humans in different parts of the world, and it has adapted. I think they were in ancient Greece and Turkey and all different places, and now they live in England, Russia, of all the places. And look at this curious little bird. You wouldn't think that it would be able to survive in such harsh climates, but the pheasant reminds us to always be adaptable, be flexible, but remember to be tenacious, that nobody decides where we're meant to be but us, that we are always changing and evolving, and our environments don't determine anything about us, that we can adapt and thrive wherever we are. Some beautiful messages coming through. So, acting a little chaotically with these cards. It's been a while since I've shuffled these guys. We're getting balance and the hermit. I'm feeling an energy of you are finding balance between your, your spiritual journey internally and everything that's happening externally. This calls, a story is being called to me. And it's one of, I think it was Krishna and his bride, who was Parvati. And Krishna was in deep meditation, and, his wife asked him to eat, and he was like, no, my spiritual work is so much more important. And Parvati got pissed, and she was like, oh, your spiritual world work is so much more important than the physical, the here and now, what's going on in the world. He said, yes, my spiritual work is so much more important. I think it was Krishna or Shiva. I don't know. But it's, okay, anyways. Krishna or Shiva. And so Parvati got pissed and she said, okay, fine. And she vanished into the unseen world. And for an entire day, the whole natural physical world was denied her presence. And in that time, the plants refused to grow. All the food withered away. People starved. The worshippers of Krishna or Shiva cried out to the avatar of, Krishna or Shiva. And they were like petitioning, please, we're starving to death. Help us, help us. And finally, he came out of his meditation. The cries of his worshippers was too much for him to bear. And he came out of his meditation and looked around and he saw that all the rivers had dried up. All the food had withered and turned to dust. And the people of the world were starving. And he called out to his wife, Parvati, Parvati, where are you? She was pissed. She was majorly pissed. And she was like, I ain't coming. I ain't going nowhere. She stayed in the unseen world. And finally he begged her to come back to help sustain the world. And he finally said, I was wrong. The physical world and everything happening in the world is just as important as what's happening in my internal spiritual world. And finally, she returned and she saw the state of the world as it was when it was denied, sustenance physically. And she became the goddess, oh my God, what's her name? Annapurna. And she had a golden ladle which magically was just like, as she would ladle food out, it would just appear. And so she went to the world and fed everybody and restored the balance. But that's like the story of Annapurna and like how I'm saying her name wrong, but ooh, but yeah. And it's time for your victory. Your victory, no longer holding on so tightly to your riches and your rewards. I feel like your recognition is coming, just like Annapurna's recognition. Anyways, let's go. Let's see, what cards want to come out? Any confirmations? Any cards for the collective? Any confirmations for this collective want to come out? Let's do a little bit more shuffling. Any confirmations? Oh, we're getting the Three of Wands. I'm getting the energy that you're somebody who may have always felt as if like your internal world was very important. So you were somebody who always like looked out and saw other people doing things and maybe took a back seat and you were kind of content in watching others. Or there were circumstances that kept you on the back burner and you were just biding your time. There is a restlessness here that it's like, oh, I can't wait until it's my turn. My stars align for me to finally, okay. Let's see. So we're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 cards. And this is quite the story. All right. So this feels like your backstory. So this is what should resonate with you to let you know that this is your reading. There was a time when you felt as if, life was passing you by. You're watching the ships, you're watching the people go by. And there's been a reckoning that you've come to face with. And you're finally ready to embark on this journey. And it's about you. There's inexperience, right? It's like going out and like maybe that's why you were in the back burner. You just felt as if when you went out and you were trying to I'm hearing making friends, but that's very specific. It just feels like you just never met your tribe or like very isolated in certain social settings or just you never really found the people that clicked with you or clicked 100%. There could be like little things, but it just felt like you never really found your power or it just feels like the circles were too small. You were in communities or in circles where it just feels very like groupthink and you are not one to, bend to the will of others. And it felt very aggravating, and it also felt very disempowering that you were just like, all your thoughts were shot down, and it just made you weary. All these battles, it filled your head with fears and paralyzed you. So much so that it like you really spent a lot of time in your internal world exploring that, however that may have been. It could be for some of you, you're big readers or like really into fantasy, I'm hearing. Reading a lot of books, maybe playing video games, or some way of retreating within yourself. Maybe you're somebody who writes a lot of stories, or you've explored your own internal depth. Like you've gained a lot of insight. There's the Hermit's not showing up here, but I'm feeling a lot of Hermit energy. You're somebody who like had spent a lot of time inside yourself delving, and it's like facing your fears internally, and now you're ready to go on a new journey. And it's like very strongly resonant that like, okay, I'm ready for something new. I'm ready to just take the leap, because what could happen is not as bad as what I fear could happen. And you know what? I know I'm going to be fine. You're moving away from the fear and the anxiety, and you're taking precautions, I'm hearing, towards this new path and this new route. You're moving away from turbulence and finally making your way to where you're being called to, where you can stand in your power. Opportunity is coming your way. Something that really excites you is coming your way. It's a new dawn. It's a new day. It's a new life. And this is something that could lead to new relationships, new opportunities, but also it's a transformation in the way you connect and communicate with people. It just really feels as if like you've learned so much that finally like you're able to really suss out who is for you and who isn't, where you're no longer, it's like, you realize it's not their loss. Like, it's their loss. You're no longer beat yourself up when, you know what I mean? Like, oh, that was a weird interaction. Or like you were trying to make friends with somebody. Or there's something about like other people or like opportunity other people, where it just felt as if like you realize you're the party. Like, you're not, the FOMO is gone because it's like they missed out on you. That is what is resonant in that. Where it's finally like, okay, if they don't get it, it's their loss. It's not on you. That you're emotionally in your power. You're finally stepping in to this radiant energy. There's this mysticism and magic about you. And that's what's making you very, very like attractive to others and to also just like opportunities right now is your self-assuredness. The more you believe in yourself and your own magic, it just feels like you are stepping in your power, and there's like a divine factor there. 8 of Cups and the Magician. It's okay. Yeah, you walked away from things that no longer served you, but also it's like there's something about like the lost cause fallacy where it just feels like there was a time where you really were investing in things just because you're like, well, I've invested so much into it, I can't walk away. But you're like, okay, it's time to walk away and time to move on. Time for me to follow the path that I know I'm called to. And you realize you're so much more capable than you realized. Like, you have these tools at your disposal and you're making major moves. You're making major plays at this right now. And you're so much more skilled, and it's like so much more talented than you give yourself credit for. For those of you seeking relationship, there's an energy here of rebalancing, of like making up for lost time. There's an energy of you're filling your cup, but also being aligned with, like, I always think of the Knight of Cups as like some sort of romantic gesture of like maybe there's a romantic energy coming your way. Bottom of the deck. Oh my gosh, the 10 of Cups. Yeah. There is something beautiful on its way for you. I just want to do one more. Anything else for the collective? Anything else that the collective needs to hear anymore? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So these came out. So I do want to say it's like Five of Cups. There was loss that you felt, but just know that by doing, I don't want to say doing nothing, but like just doing what you're doing, being in your energy and like following the path that you're on, that's what's going to lead to your accolades and being able to preside. It's like your keen wit, your discerning nature is what is going to lead to this happiness of unfolding and for this victory to find its way to you, of you being recognized in your accolades. All right. That feels like all the messages coming through. I want to say thank you so much for being here. Let's thank the angels, the deities of the light, and all that call us to our higher good. I want to say thank you, bestie, for being here. I love you so, so much. And until next time, bye.